What's going on YouTube? It's Trent here with Off-Road Odyssey. Today I wanted to talk about my Leer 100 XR camper shell. Give you guys an overview and comparison against my previous shell, which was an A.R.E CX series, why I upgraded, and some things that you should consider if you do plan on buying a shell yourself. All of that will be in the comments down below, timestamped for you, as well as in the video description just below that like button. So if you want to jump ahead, go ahead and check those out. I will apologize ahead of time if you do hear a bunch of background noise, as I am at home today and there are a bunch of cars driving by the road finally. So let's get into it. So this is my current setup here. Got the wind doors on the side here. They're vented up top there. Here we have one of the frameless windows. So it's just all one solid piece of glass. Granted, it is kind of dirty right now. I did take it off-road. We have the other wind door here, same thing, vented as well. Up top, I do have the roof mounts or roof rack mounts or roof tracks, whatever you want to call them, just up top, which, you know, I will talk about both of those in more detail and why I think you should upgrade to them. Inside here, this is how my truck is set up. Most of the time, I usually have my work stuff over here on this side. Right now it's food, and then back there we have a fold down window, which I will talk about in more detail in just a minute. If you haven't checked out my setup video, you can do that. I'll put a link to that down below, but this is just the setup that I run 90% of the time, and the other % of the time hopefully we are camping. Not much now due to the whole quarantine thing. So the wind doors here, honestly, probably my favorite thing on the truck. You just have a normal T-handle and both apply. It is in this, you know, it's a slide track here. Any door that you'll get has that. So just be aware of those. They do slide around sometimes with like heavy usage. I have seen that happen, but it has not happened to my truck. Just a normal gas strut that you'll get on the sides of both of these here, and then you have a small mesh piece here. So it's probably about 6 inches wide and, you know, whatever that is long. And it just has a slide out window here, so that way you can open it up. Here, just a plastic clip. One thing I will say about these is that they are very hard to close, so just if you're buying them, that's something that I've noticed with this setup so far, is they're kind of hard to close. They have just a metal piece here, which you can open from the inside. So if you plan on camping in here, you can open these up, push them open. And we did that out in Death Valley. We opened up both sides and got nice airflow through the truck, and we're just able to stay shaded while we sat back there and took a nice afternoon nap. As far as the seal, it's just a regular rubber window seal or weather seal, and then they put these plastic pieces on to back where the T-handled backing metal piece goes. So those will be there, and they put one over the seam, I believe, right in here. On to the back of the window here, you'll see it's slightly curved, which is nice to have, just because it gives it a little bit more design aesthetic, which I'll get into in just a second. It's got a mirror plastic finish here. I think it looks nice because it blends it in. You can't really tell the difference. Each one of these is a mounting point for the window. They do have one that are completely, you know, free of anything on them, but I just had heard issues with those delaminating from the back of the truck, so I didn't kind of move forward with that design. Here you have just a standard, you know, twist lock with just a normal lock inside. I might upgrade this in the future to a remote lock just to save me from having one more key. And I don't know how long this will hold up. Just twisting it, if debris gets in there, you know, I'm not sure how it will hold up. So far it's been fine, but just one of those concerns. So here we have the actual lock system. You know, it's just a normal kind of door latch style, and then it has just a twist lock. It's nice because you can unlock it from inside by just twisting it, and same thing on this side. And it seems like it would be pretty easy to repair in the future. I'm not sure how it's going to hold up. It's one of the comparisons I will make with the A.R.E. shell. And then it does have this nice metal piece which I use as a handle to actually close the back of the glass here when I am sleeping back there on a camping trip. So it's pretty nice. Just pull it down and you can close it right up. The pins here are adjustable, so you can loosen them up, tighten them up if you need to, adjust them. You know, as your truck window starts to move, as they do over time, just like a door or a gate or anything, it might sag over time, so you can actually adjust the window itself and the latch mechanism itself too. I thought that was pretty nice that they give you that adjustability just to make sure you have perfect close on your window. So the entire inside of the shell is carpeted, which I found really nice for two reasons. One, it provides a little insulation, so warmth, as well as keeping the heat out. And it also provides as a little bit of a barrier. Instead of hitting your head on pure fiberglass, you hit your head on some carpet when you wake up in the middle of the night and don't realize that you are, you know, sleeping in the back of your truck. So that's an added bonus. One thing I commented about in my previous video was the mounting system. So it's just a bolt with aluminum block and it's mounted to the tie-down strap for the Tacoma. I'm not sure how they mount it on other trucks, but this seems to be a pretty secure way to mount the shell, and I actually like it. It's just one bolt, so it's super simple. If you do decide to take this off in the future, all you need is a ratchet, which is nice. On my truck here, they put a light, so it's pretty nice and bright to have. And then you can see they have adjustment points for the struts and a fuse box for the third brake light, and it just ties into your actual brake light. So when we talk about comparing the two shells, I think it's important to have context as to why I upgraded in the first place. But if you're just watching this to figure out who makes a better shell, I think Leer has a better fit and finish, hands down. And I'll get into that in just a second on why I think that. But overall, I think you need to know the context of why I bought the A.R.E. shell in the first place. And it was just more as a test run. I didn't know if I even wanted a camper shell. I was torn between a rooftop tent and a camper shell. I still go back and forth if I want to get a rooftop tent, but that's a video for later. So overall, it was just a test run to if I wanted a shell and if I needed to upgrade all the little bells and whistles of the things I thought that I would want versus what I actually needed. And it just reinforced the fact that some of the items that I was going to buy on my shell when I initially was thinking of purchasing one were validated in the sense that wind doors were important, drop-down window, and all those things that I'm going to talk about in your kind of buyer's guide, if you will. Now, A.R.E. doesn't make bad shells. I think their shells are still decent, but there are a few things that I noticed with the build quality, and that was like the window frames. You can see where the screws are at. It's actually dented. The carpet seemed a little bit thinner, and they have this clamp system on their shells that if you end up putting weight on the top of the roof, it has the potential for sliding because it's only friction mounted, and that kind of worried me over time that wasn't going to hold up. I did think of it initially as an awesome design, but it has too many moving parts, and overall I think the bolt design on the Leer shell is a better design. So if you do plan on buying a camper shell, and you're thinking of some of the things that you might want or might not want, or is it worth the money? First off, wind doors are a huge advantage. I think they are definitely worth the investment. If you can get the vented ones, even better, because when you camp back here, you're not going to have any problems. You're going to be able to open those up. For me, I have dogs. I can slide open the vents and keep the dogs back here. It made the world of difference when camping, just being able to access all of our stuff. If you're someone that has a lifted truck, or you keep a lot of stuff in your truck closer to the cab, it keeps you from having to crawl back in the cab and try and grab stuff. When you're trying to maneuver large objects in here, honestly, it is totally worth it. If you can't afford the wind doors, look into the price of the doors alone. Or even just getting one wind door, it would be totally worth it just to have the accessibility of getting in there. I said that kind of weird. Accessibility, not accessibility. Anyways, so wind doors, totally worth the investment. The next thing that I would consider upgrading is putting on the roof rack. You can do it yourself, but you will void the warranty. So if you're buying a shell new, it's kind of worth it in my eyes just to put a roof rack on there. Pay the money, because at least you'll keep the warranty. Within 2 weeks of buying my shell, I had to transport something, and on my old shell I didn't have the roof rack system or the mounts up there, so it was laying directly on the paint. But you know, it is part of what it is, I guess, and that's why I decided to go with the track system on this truck, and it has been totally worth it. Just to have the capability of putting a roof rack up there if I wanted to, as well as just to keep stuff off of the top of the truck. I can lay stuff up there, no problem. The other thing you might consider it's a nice to have but not need to have is the drop down window. I feel that it's just, for me, kind of a sanity thing to be able to clean the back of the truck cab as well as the back of the truck window here. Just keeps it a little cleaner, makes it look a little nicer. I think it's worth the investment. Not everyone's going to. It does create a little bit of leaking because it's not a sealed in window, so you might get a little leaking in it. And you can check out that leak test that I did on this shell, but it's just, to me, it was worth it, worth the sanity, that type of thing. Now, if you are buying a shell, it does take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks before you will receive them. So be aware of that. If you're planning on a camping trip or a future camping trip, buy them early, because they do take about 2 months before you'll get it. When you're choosing which camper shell you want, I would say try and go to a dealer, find a local dealer, look at them online, look at the reviews. If you're considering A.R.Es, you can watch my other video, but overall, just kind of get a feel for what you want in the shell. They're very similar, and that's why I think, just go with the Leer shell. You'll be able to find the design style you want. It's not sponsored, I promise, but you'll be able to find what you want from Leer, and they make a good quality product. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will answer your comment as soon as I possibly can. I try and respond to every comment that I get, but if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. But if you did like this video and I found it beneficial, just do me a favor, smash that like button if that's your style, or just click it. Maybe hit that notification bell and subscribe button. That way you get notified when I post future videos. I try and do 1 video a week, and hopefully I will be doing more here shortly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, have a great day.